We are Blackmore. We are St. Louis.
Welcome to St. Louis Cardinal Baseball on Fox Sports Midwest from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Game one of a three-game series with Atlanta. Overcast skies all day long, and the Cardinals trying to chase the Braves in the National League wild card. 7.5 games behind going into play here tonight. Rick Horton alongside Al Rabasti. Glad you're with us for tonight's telecast. And now these two teams, really storied franchises, the Braves and the Cardinals. Cardinals 7.5 games out. Do they have a chance?
Well, it doesn't look good, but you're not mathematically eliminated, so you keep on playing hard. You go out there and play these games because it's a lot easier at least when you psychologically think that you still have something to play for. So until you're eliminated, go play hard baseball.
And if you could think of one thing the Cardinals need to do to get that streak going, what would it be?
Consistent starting pitching. That really sets the tone. Cardinals have a lot of offense, but it's all about starting pitching.
And speaking of starting pitching, we'll take a closer look at our starters here tonight in Game 1. The Cardinals and the Braves on Fox Sports Midwest. Underway here at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals hosting the Atlanta Braves. Game 1 of a three-game series, and here's our pitching matchup.
Young Randall Delgado would be making his 4th career start. Baseball America described him as the third best prospect in the Braves organization and 30th best overall. He's 2-1 with the Braves, very tough on right-handed batters. They're batting 182 against a young right-hander. Edwin Jackson on the other side. He's pitching and making a lot of money. His recent starts have been very, very good. He's controlled the strike zone. He's got an overpowering fastball, good slider, and we've seen his changeup come into play. He'll be on the mound tonight for the Cardinals in a must-win situation.
And he's been tough of late. When we come back, we will have our 5 in 55 segment. They lead the wild card race at the moment. Time for our 5 in 55, and we'll start with David Freese, a career-high 6 RBIs last year against the Braves, including a home run. The Redbirds will need his power batting behind the big three in this series. John Jay has been very hot of late, stringing together several multi-hit games and also playing a very solid center field defensively for Tony La Russa. Albert Pujols has always hit the Braves well, flirting with 300 here in the second half of the season. The Cardinals need his power back if they want to take this series and get closer to Atlanta. Michael Bourne need to keep him off the bases. 10 stolen bases against the Cardinals in his career. That's an MLB high. A very tough out and a very solid base runner. Slugger Dan Uggla got off to a bad start in 2011, but he has poured it on in the second half, batting over 350 at New Busch with a slugging percentage of .647. The Cardinals are going to have to deal with him. So that's our 5 in 55. When we come back, we will revisit the last time these two teams met in Atlanta. closely contested ball games. Cardinals taking 2 out of 3, and a lot of unlikely heroes in that series. Game 1, April 29th. Daniel Descalzo hits a sacrifice fly off of Craig Kimbrell. That ties the score in the 9th at 3. Then Nick Punto laces a 2-run triple in the 11th to give the Cardinals a 5-3 victory in Game 1. The following night, the Cardinals win again. This time, David Freese ties the game with a 2-run single off of Johnny Venters, another reliever having an outstanding season. And then it's Gerald Laird delivering a go-ahead RBI triple. Cardinals win this one 3-2, and Fernando Salas shuts the door for his second save of the season. The Braves take Game 3. That's on May 1st. Another unlikely hero. This time it's Brooks Conrad. His walk-off single gives the Atlanta Braves a 6-5 victory in Game 3. These two teams match up again here in St. Louis. Coming up next on Fox Sports Midwest. West is brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. By Chevy. See your Mid-America Chevy dealers. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. #1 in quality tires and expert auto service. And by Steak and Shake. Life needs flavor. Inside Busch Stadium, Game 1 of a 3-game series with the Atlanta Braves. Had some rain here this afternoon, but the skies have cleared up. And we're going to start on time. And here's the Braves batting order. 5 left-handers in the lineup, including the switch hitter Chipper Jones, Bourne Jones, and McCann in the first. Followed by Ugla, Freeman, Prado, Hayward, Jack Wilson, recently acquired, and Delgado, the pitcher, against Edwin Jackson.
Well, he's really made some money the way he's been pitching of late. He's a potential free agent. He's perfect here, not only 3-0, but an ERA under 2.5. And if he just maintains that command of the fastball and slider, incorporate an occasional changeup, he should have another good game because he's got that good of stuff.
Sure has been a good find. The defense behind Jackson, brought to you by Dobbs, is Holiday, Jay, and Berkman in the outfield from left to right. Freeze for call, Schumacher, and Pujols. The A lineup here tonight. Yadier Molina behind the plate, and Jackson is your pitcher. Tonight's broadcast is on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces serving in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea. They're watching around the world in Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea, and Japan. Welcome to the telecast.
And thank you for your service and what you do so we can enjoy our freedoms right back here at home. And we wish you a speedy return.
And we'll be remembering our troops all weekend long here on Fox Sports Midwest. Jackson toes the rubber, and he's ready for the first pitch, and it's Michael Bourne, the center fielder, and he runs very well. And on the grass is Freeze, and it's strike one at the knee.
Michael Bourne came over the trade deadline from Houston, and you see the 51 steals. He is a force to be reckoned with, so it's best to keep him off base.
So important, that first pitch strike for Edwin Jackson. Really for anybody else.
Really sets the tone. A lot of pitchers, they have good stuff. You can get that first pitch strike and then never have to throw another one. Just be around the plate and let a hitter expand his zone.
Good changeup from Jackson there.
We saw him, kind of incorporate that a little bit more. And that was such a big pitch for several of the starters in the Milwaukee series.
Jams him. Better hurry. Schumacher charges, and ball gets away from Pujols. And we'll have to wait and see how they score that. Bourne creating some stress on the right side of the Cardinals infield.
It's a base hit, and I think that Schumacher, knowing about Michael Bourne's speed, really had to throw a BB at Albert. Off balance throw, and kind of surprised him a little bit. Off the glove, but he wasn't expecting that kind of throw, and could have been caught. But you mentioned the pressure that Bourne's speed puts on the defense is immense.
Part of his value. 51 stolen bases on the season. He's been caught a league high 12 times. Game time temperature 64 degrees. Turned into a nice evening here at Busch Stadium. Chipper Jones, the veteran, one of the best switch hitters this game has ever seen, Al.
Yes, he is. Now he's over 2,600 hits. 16 home runs again this year. When he's healthy, he's such a productive player. And moving up the list, all-time list of switch hitters, going to find himself in Cooperstown.
Fastball misses. Interesting to see him batting in the second spot.
Yeah, they've done that in a few games now. This is the fourth game. They did have a doubleheader, make-up doubleheader against the Mets. They won both ends of it. Chipper had a home run in game one and had another hit in game two, hitting in the 2-hole.
2-0. Swing and a miss at a high fastball. He might have chased one out of the zone there.
Home run he hit on the 8th of September was number 452 of his career. That ties him with Carl Yastrzemski for 33rd place in the all-time list. Over 1,500 RBIs now.
This ball hit hard to right. Back goes Berkman. He's at the track, and he makes the play on the run. Lance Berkman runs it down at the warning track.
Very nice play by Berkman. And what he did well on this ball is, I think it shocked him a little bit. Well, watch, right at the last second he puts the glove up. You put the glove up too soon, it stops your forward progress. But he reached up at the last second, hauled it in, and I think he surprised our Plaza Tire Service Fox Expo cam. I think he surprised his former teammate Michael Bourne, who's still sitting at first base. He was right at the point of rounding second, going on to third on that ball if it would have gotten by him.
He planning on scoring there, wasn't he? There's another hard hit to right field, and Berkman's not going to get this one. This one hits at the base of the wall, and Bourne is rounding third already, and he's going to score easily. And it's 1-0 Atlanta. That ball was crushed.
Brian McCann, just an outstanding offensive player. Position of catcher, but boy, he is a slugger. And, you know, the ball down, left-handed hitters like that ball down. Michael Bourne, you could tell that Berkman wasn't going to catch this one. And look at him turn on the afterburners. The one bad thing about this is, the Braves lead major leagues. They have the best record in games when scoring first. They're 60-14, and they've taken a 1-0 lead.
You could have done without that stat, Al. But you're just being honest. 1-0 to Dan Uggla.
Sometimes it hurts, doesn't it?
That's right. You're right. Yes, it does.
And with Jackson, you're going to have to. Sometimes the starting pitcher gets a little trying to find the comfort zone on the mound. The first inning can be a little elusive. And you'll see the scoring first this season. Cardinals are pretty good, but they're not even on the top 5. 16-14 is pretty good, isn't it?
Sure is.
Remember, they got a great bullpen.
There's a good slider from Jackson, 2-1. In that bullpen you're talking about, O'Flaherty, Venters setting up for Craig Kimbrell is pretty much lights out if you get to the 8th inning.
Got a rookie pitcher on the mound, and be the 4th consecutive start for a rookie for the Atlanta Braves. What were we told? The starters go 5 innings, and then Freddie Gonzalez likes to play with the toys in the bullpen.
Yeah, he worries a little bit about that 6th and the 7th, though. But once he gets to the 8th, it's all fun for him.
Sure.
2-2 to Dan Uggla.
But Uggla, after a very slow start, explosive season he's had. Still not hitting much, but the home runs are there.
Check swing. Pujols on the run, makes the play. Got a good jump on that ball. And there's a break for the Cardinals, retiring Dan Uggla. 33 home runs on the year for Uggla, just 1 behind Albert.
Uggla has had 18 since the All-Star break. Albert's 16. They're the two top, and a Plaza Tire Service brings you this replay. Really wasn't hit that high, but as you said, a good jump, and he was able to get under it.
First base now open as Jackson faces Freddie Freeman. One of the names you think of when you think about the potential for the Rookie of the Year. He pops this one up into left field. Long way to run for Holiday, and he is not going to get it. And it is a fair ball, a fly ball hit, and now a double for Freddie Freeman. So the Cardinals get a good break, and on the very next pitch, they get a bad break.
Well, Freeman, as you said, big power, 18 home runs, and you got to respect it. But coming off the bat of a left-hander that's going to slice away from Holiday. Try to grab it barehanded, but it wouldn't have changed the results if he did so. It's going to be a double, and the runner with 2 outs had his head down and was already across the plate.
A little surprised Freeman didn't slide into second base. How about you? You think he was going to be safe either way?
I think he thought he was going to be safe either way. But a rule of thumb is to go ahead and slide, execute that slide, and then you won't be caught in between.
Looks better, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, we've seen a lot of guys get hurt. At the last second they try to slide, and they don't have the right stride. They're not preparing for it. They jam a bag or a knee into the bag. So it's always better to just go up there and anticipate having to slide and execute it.
So 2-0 Atlanta. Martin Prado bats from the right side. Try to work him in, and Jackson misses low. Prado at 264. One of those pesky hitters. He's a good hitter. Hard to strike him out. And occasional power. 11 home runs, 52 RBIs.
Times you kind of think of him batting in the 2-hole or even leading off, but not with Michael Bourne on the roster.
Atlanta won both their games yesterday against the Mets, and they're out front here tonight in St. Louis, 2-0.
Interesting. They had that. If they had the rain out or the postponement was because of the recent hurricane, and then Mike Winters, who was supposed to be the crew chief here tonight, is not able to get out of San Diego because of the power outage they experienced in Southern California and Arizona and Mexico. Tell the crowd's been taken out of this game as you can hear the vendors.
Right.
Crowd mics.
Right. Sounds like they're talking to us, Al.
Does. Maybe they are.
Full count to Prado. Late swing. We'll do it again. Freddie Freeman, the runner at second base. Just 21 years of age. Freeman having an outstanding season, and Jackson trying to stop the bleeding here in the first. Freeman, Al, you think about him as a potential rookie of the year, but maybe his closest competition is his teammate.
Yeah, and maybe they split the votes like Fielder and Braun.
Ground ball to the left side. Furcal gobbles it up. The ex-Brave throws out the current Brave. Atlanta strikes first. Cardinals, their first trip when we come back. And we'll give you a look at the Cardinals batting order here tonight. Rafael Furcal, John Jay, and Albert Pujols in the first. Then Holiday, Berkman, Freese, Schumacher, Molina, and Edwin Jackson against the young right-hander Randall Delgado.
Well, Delgado is tough on right-handers. They're batting 182 with 2 home runs. Changeup's his best pitch. And we're told for a youngster only 21 years of age that he has good mound presence. I used to hear that and say, well, what does that mean? He gets shellacked all over the ballpark and he just takes it. Sometimes it can be.
So you don't want him to be
bad.
You don't want him to be too poised, right?
Exactly. But no, he's got a good live fastball. Got that good changeup and a slider.
6'3", 200-pounder from Panama.
A lot of ball players from Panama.
Nice to be 21 years of age and in the big leagues.
You have to think the military bases, the naval base there in Panama, has probably had somewhat influence on the youth.
2-1 to Furcal. Slaps it foul. Furcal's been an interesting addition to this Cardinal team. Al, we've seen his great defense, but 5 of his 7 home runs have come against Milwaukee.
Yeah. Up in Milwaukee, you know, remember he hit 2 leadoff home runs, 1 from each side of the plate. They got to play him around the left.
Big gap in right center. Full count now to Furcal.
Which we saw Furcal, I believe it was Tuesday night, get a couple hits to left. The old Matty Alou fashion.
And ball 4. Good start for the Cardinals. Furcal the runner at first. Here's the defense for the Atlanta Braves. Martin Prado, Bourne, and Hayward in right. Chipper Jones, the veteran Jack Wilson now the shortstop. Ugla and Freeman on the right side. Brian McCann, the perennial all-star. And Randall Delgado, the young pitcher.
John Jay is hot.
En fuego, you might say.
Muy caliente.
Muy caliente. Very good, Al.
John Jay has had an explosive September, batting .522 with 2 home runs, 3 RBIs in his last 6 games.
By far the best homestand of any Cardinal hitter. He's 11 for 18, 6-game hitting streak. The average now up to .308. Furcal not going. Swing and a miss. There's that changeup.
Yeah, really great arm action on it. Gave you a lot of movement towards the plate, and then they had the good arm speed with it, and then the ball just comes out about a foot after you expect it. Call 298 career steals, but none since the trade that brought him to the Cardinals.
Interesting.
I think he's only ran 1 time, but in all the double plays the Cardinals have hit into, you'd love to see a little movement on the base path.
Was that 11 for 18, a couple of home runs to go along with it, and maybe a hit and run count here. The hit and run count certainly has changed over the years. Now you just do it when you feel like it. 1 and 2. Is he going? He's not. All nubbed foul.
But isn't it funny? Is 30-40 years ago a 2-1 count was always considered a running count. Now the managers control the running game, and so no one ever hit and run on 2 and 1. I think you could do it again, and people would be shocked because they're not ever expecting it. We haven't seen one in years.
The 1-2 pitch. Popped up on the left side. Out goes the shortstop Wilson. Shallow left field. He has sure hands. Out number 1.
That reminds you of the Yogi Berra saying nobody goes there anymore because it's too crowded.
Right. About the restaurant, right?
Right.
Sometimes, Al, you remind me of Yogi Berra, I must say. You have you guys are thinking on another level.
That's only because I'm the only graduate of the Mike Shannon School of Diction.
Congratulations. Where's your diploma?
We haven't worked on that yet. Take too much out of the budget.
Pujols at the plate. Furcal the runner at first, not going, and a slider down and away, ball 1. Albert has scored 91 runs this year. Kind of a part of his statistics we don't talk about a lot, but there's his power numbers. 34-85 among the league leaders. Number 1 in home runs.
Still within reach of that 300, but he better pick up the pace on his RBIs at 15 away from 100. For 11 consecutive years he's had 30 or more home runs, trying to do so in batting average over 300 and RBIs over 100 for 11 consecutive years. And that's to start a career.
2-0, also considered a good hit and run count.
Well, one thing Tony will tell you too, though, you can't really hit and run if your pitcher doesn't have a lot of control. But it appears that Delgado does.
Not going, although he looked as if he wanted to go. For call, maybe didn't get a good jump there. And again, that ball 3 to the plate, so certainly not going here.
You still got to believe that Albert has a green light. You know he has a green light on 3-0, so you could send it.
And they do. And the green light results in a base hit to right field for call. Round second. And heads to third. A hit and run on a 3-0 count. Well, now I've seen it all.
Well, I mean, you think about it. If it's in the strike zone, Albert's going to be swinging at it. If it's ball 4, you're safe at second anyway.
Not only is Furcal safe at second, he's also safe at third. Safe and secure. New York Light. Matt Holliday with an opportunity now to get the Cardinals back in this game. Batting average at .301. He had his 200th home run in Milwaukee.
Albert and Holliday, big averages against Braves.
Only Aramis Ramirez has a better batting average lifetime against the Braves than those two. Ramirez at .386, Pujols and Holliday right behind him. So Ramirez hits the Braves at .386. He hits us about .386. Who gets him out?
Himself with injury.
You're probably right.
The DL.
Two 2-0 Atlanta. Swing and a miss.
Wiry frame of Delgado, and they really haven't figured out that changeup yet.
For Colin Pujols, the runners. The 1-2. This is away 2-2.
It's one of the things that Mark McGwire is still having a little trouble with, is how dependent all the today's hitters are on video, where he used a little bit of video and just got a crack bat or something, switch it. But Mark always said, I used to trust my own eyes. You can watch video, but it's not, you can't really simulate what it is like standing in that batter's box and seeing the arm action when you're in the, at plate. And that's what Mark said. I wasn't a guess hitter, I was a location hitter.
Think about the success Jeff Bagwell had with the Astros in the second half last year, when he kind of said, let's not talk about the video so much. I want you to get the feel of hitting. And it worked.
And then he quit.
Right. The 3-2 to Holliday. Hit on the ground on the left side. Jones has it. His only play is at first. And he gets Holliday, but a RBI ground out for Matt Holliday, and it's now 2-1 Atlanta.
Just peck away. Hope Jackson will settle down after the 2-run first inning. And preferably you get another 2-out base hit, drive in Albert, you got a tie game.
But it does feel as if you've got the most important run, and that's that run just to get on the board.
Get on the board. Got a young rookie out there, only his 4th career start. Started at AA and came up early in the season at one point, and or started AA and went to AAA, but really his numbers there were basically 500.
Delgado before this season 16 and 32 in his minor league career. All at low levels. Good ERA. A lot of strikeouts. It's that changeup's been the difference maker for him. This ball hit into the right field corner, and it is a foul ball, says the first base umpire, Chris Guccione. Very close call. And Dave McKay and Lance Berkman aren't sure about it.
It's not chalk, but it sure looks like it landed right on the line. Maybe an eighth of the ball lands on the white part.
I think that's a fair ball, Al.
I don't think we had any argument if we were caught.
Now
there.
I don't.
You look for it. You like the other angle better.
I do.
And was it just, and you know, maybe if you look at it too, think about it, more the indentation is in foul territory,
right,
and it kicked the dirt on the line.
I think you got it right with that second view. Either way, it's foul. Now it's 1-1. Our first bank, first take. Talked about rookie starters earlier, Al. 40 games. Most in the National League. Only the Mariners with more starts by a rookie pitcher this season.
They've had 4 consecutive.
And they're winning.
That's the hard thing, because most of those on that list were losing clubs.
And that was our first bank, first take. We are banking on your future.
Philadelphia with an early 3-0 lead over Milwaukee. Could be a telltale series for Milwaukee.
Check swing. No, it wasn't, says Corey Blazer. So rough at bat for Berkman. The Cardinals back in at 2-1. StubHub is the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the St. Louis Cardinals. 2-1 is our score. Top of the second inning. Jackson and Delgado. In the bottom of the order for Atlanta, Jason Hayward hits from the left side, and he hits a line drive foul just past the first base umpire, Chris Guccione. I think the fans want him to call that one fair. Is that what they're
I think
cheering about?
One foul.
Make sure he got it right.
Long discussion with our first base umpire, Chris Guccione, and Lance Berkman, but handled in a professional way, is asking for a clarification on that ball very close to the line. And so you can talk to umpires, just do it the right way.
It ended up being a frustrating at bat for Berkman because he got called out on a check swing where he didn't think he went around. So game of handling frustration, isn't it? Hayward's had some of that this year.
It really is. It's a game of failure. You know, even a hitter, if you're going to fail 70% of the time and considered to be great. Hayward, after the big season last year, kind of come back down to earth, the 223 average.
Jackson thought about tagging Hayward and decided he was a little bit bigger than Jackson was, and decided he'd just flip it over to Albert, a little bit safer.
You almost deke your first baseman in that case.
Jackson has shown some athleticism on the mound.
Yeah, he really, you can tell he's a good athlete. You know, when he's in the batter's box, he has the ability to swing the bat, field his position.
Jack Wilson.
It's funny seeing Jack Wilson in any uniform other than the Pirates.
I agree.
Cardinal farmhand, who at the time kind of thought he was a little too flashy, liked to dive all the time and leave his feet, but he's become a very solid shortstop at the big league level. And when he first came up as a hitter, you know, all they asked him to do was sacrifice, but he's become much better than that.
Check swing, and he went around, says the home plate umpire. 1-2. I recall the collision that Jack Wilson had. I believe it was Freddie Sanchez, the second baseman, in Pittsburgh, and he was knocked out cold, and I was concerned about where he might go from there, but he ended up being fine the next day. He's a tough competitor. He pops this one up. Out number 2. And we'll take a look at our Toyota keys to the game, the last 5 outings from Edwin Jackson.
3-1, 2.50 ERA. Potential free agent is Cardinals were at least considered more likely to be in a pennant race. A lot more scouts were seeing some of those good outings, and it's a pretty weak, starting, pool of starting pitchers that are potential free agents, where Jackson is considered about 3rd or 4th best.
1-1 to Delgado, looking for his first major league hit. And you wonder, with Jackson, with all the bouncing around he's done, how many teams are going to say, you know what, we're going to go 4 or 5 years with you after he's bounced around. I would think some teams might be shy about that.
I mean, he's 27 now.
Correct.
27. He's on his 5th ball club, and you could just tell where a lot of clubs, you look at his physical physique, you look at his stuff, and you go, this guy should be a big winner. It's been inconsistent.
Strikeout number 1, bottom of the 2nd, 2-1 Atlanta. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by BMW. Come out to the BMW Drive for Team USA event and get behind the wheel of a BMW to show your support. And everybody on HP. Very nutritious meal here at the ballpark. Bottom of the second, 2-1 Atlanta. David Freese, Skip Schumacher, and Yadier Molina set for Randall Delgado.
I think there's some GIs over in Afghanistan that all of a sudden thought that their food wasn't that bad.
There's a line drive to center. Bourne has good speed. He was well played and well placed defensively, and he is a Gold Glover out there in center.
And no doubt about it. Really, the Braves gave up a lot of young talent to get the Gold Glover and stolen base champion Michael Bourne. He's still a young player, so
I like the way he plays too. He very aggressive defensively. Doesn't have the greatest arm, but gets a lot of assists because he charges the ball, and he really works at his defense. Obviously, he works at his base stealing. I would imagine he's happy to be a Brave instead of an Astro right now.
Oh, yeah. That far out, trying to avoid 100 losses, which is going to probably be impossible. We'd much rather be fighting for a wild card spot. Houston, 95 losses. And they're playing a little better. They're playing 500 ball now.
Schumacher's 0 for his last 8. Takes a breaking pitch low, 2-2. Solid year offensively for Skip Schumacher. And right around that 300 mark.
Think about the 34 games he missed and then was rushed back to the big leagues. Only had basically, I think, 4 or 5 at bats at extended spring. So had to get his timing back at the major league level out of necessity, because of Punto was hurt again, and Skip was rushed back. Didn't say a word, but knew that his average would suffer for a while.
The ball trying to make its way back fair, and finally the first baseman Freeman comes and gets it. That ball hit off the cutout of the grass and the dirt. It started to roll back fair again, and if it does roll back fair, it would have been an infield hit for Schumacher.
And at that point, he was already basically past the bag, and no one at the bag to make a play. So good thing Friedman did get out there and reach on it.
Talking about injuries, and Skip Schumacher and the Cardinals have had their share, but so has Atlanta. 2 of their top starting pitchers are out. You might not see them the rest of the season, Jurgens and Hansen, and yet they keep on winning. Tough play for Jones, and he should have let Terry Pendleton take that one.
Terry Pendleton, one of the best. The first base coach for Atlanta Braves, one of the best at going back and making an over-the-shoulder catch. They're a little bit quicker than Chipper Jones, playing on those knees that have kind of given him fits, but our Plaza Tire service. There's TP.
I think he knows we're talking about him. Ground ball to short. Dug out by Freeman. Out number 2. Make sure to stop by the Step Up to the Plate Against Hepatitis C testing event on Saturday, September 24th at the Ford Plaza inside Busch Stadium. Get the facts, get tested. Learn more at allaboutHepC.com/baseball. Yadier Molina Also a solid year offensively. His number's over 290. He is just 1 for his last 12.
Getting a little more rest this year, and last 2 Septembers he had his season cut short due to knee problems, just the wear and tear. So by design, Gerald Laird getting a few more starts, trying to ease the wear and tear on Molina. Paid off offensively.
Sometimes that wear and tear, not only Yadi's feeling it, but we can see it. You can see by the way he plays, runs the bases. There are just times where he's just flat worn out. And we have not seen that as much this year.
That was part of their game plan, bringing in Gerald Laird. And Laird's made 21 starts, but there's been a few blowout games where Yadi would get a last couple innings off.
When you're tired, that bat gets a little heavier, swing a little slower.
Remember, you're sitting there in a crouch all day, too.
For 3 hours plus.